8 tiny Japanese habits that make a massive difference, fast. Have you ever wondered why Japan has one of the longest life expectancies in the world? Why their cities are spotless? Why so many people seem calm, focused, and deeply purposeful? It is not genetics. It is not luck. It is habits. Tiny habits that most people overlook. Habits so small they seem almost insignificant. But that is exactly why they work. Today, I am going to show you 8 tiny Japanese habits that create massive differences in your life, not through dramatic overnight transformations, but through the kind of deep, lasting change that compounds over years. These are not complicated rituals. They are not time-consuming practices. They are small, almost effortless actions, but done consistently, they reshape everything. Because in Japan there is a saying, "The nail that sticks out gets hammered down." But there is another side to that philosophy. When everyone moves in harmony, the whole society rises. So let us talk about what that actually looks like in daily life. Habit 1. Kaizen. The first tiny habit is called Kaizen, and it might be the most powerful concept you will ever learn. Kaizen means continuous improvement, but not the kind where you overhaul your entire life on January 1st and burn out by February. It is the opposite. It is about making improvements so small they are almost invisible. 1% better every day. That is it. In Japanese companies, this philosophy is everywhere. Toyota became one of the most successful car manufacturers in the world because of Kaizen. Not by making massive changes, but by encouraging every worker, every day, to find one tiny thing to improve. A process that could be 1 second faster. A tool that could be placed 2 inches closer. A step that could be eliminated entirely. It sounds insignificant, but when you do that every single day for years, the compound effect is staggering. And this does not just apply to factories. It applies to your life. Want to get in shape? Do not commit to an hour at the gym every day. Do 1 push-up, just 1. That is so easy you cannot say no. And once you do 1, you will probably do 5, then 10, and before you know it, it is a habit. Want to read more? Do not force yourself to read for an hour. Read 1 page. 1 page is nothing. But 1 page a day is 365 pages a year. That is more than most people read in 5 years. Kaizen removes the friction. It makes improvement invisible until the results become undeniable. Because the goal is not to transform overnight. The goal is to never stop moving forward. Habit 2. Ikigai. Ikigai is your reason for being. It is the thing that makes you wake up in the morning. Not your job, not your responsibilities, but the thing that gives your life meaning. In Okinawa, one of the blue zones where people regularly live past 100, almost everyone can tell you their Ikigai. Researchers believe that sense of purpose is one of the main reasons they live so long. Because when you have a reason to wake up, your body wants to keep going. When life feels meaningless, your health declines, your energy drops, you age faster. Ikigai is not about grand ambitions. It is not about changing the world or becoming famous. It can be as simple as tending a garden, teaching a skill, spending time with your grandchildren, or creating something with your hands. The key is that it is yours. Not what society tells you to care about, what genuinely makes you feel alive. Here is the framework the Japanese use to find it. Ikigai sits at the intersection of 4 things: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs from you, and how you can be paid for it. When you find something that touches all 4, that is your Ikigai. But most people never sit down and ask themselves these questions. They just drift. They do what they are supposed to do and wonder why life feels empty. So pause right now and ask yourself, what do I love? What am I good at? What does the world need from me? And how can I support myself doing it? You do not need all the answers today. But if you start asking the questions, the answers will come. Habit 3. Hara Hachi. Buhara Hachibu means eat until you are 80% full. Not stuffed, not satisfied. Just 80%. In Okinawa, people say this phrase before every meal. It is a reminder, a tiny moment of mindfulness, and it keeps them from overeating. Here is the problem. Your brain takes about 20 minutes to register that you are full. So if you eat until you feel full, you have already overeaten. You have consumed more than your body needed. And over time, that extra 20% adds up. It leads to weight gain, sluggishness, and inflammation. All the things that make you age faster. But if you stop at 80%, you give your body exactly what it needs, and nothing more. And that slight calorie restriction has been shown to extend lifespan in almost every species studied. This does not mean starving yourself. It means eating slowly, paying attention, putting your fork down between bites and asking yourself, am I actually still hungry, or am I just eating because the food is there? Most people eat on autopilot. They finish what is on the plate because that is what they are supposed to do. But your plate does not know how much your body needs, so the next time you eat, try this. Halfway through your meal, pause, check in, ask yourself, could I stop here and feel fine? If yes, stop. If not, keep going slowly. It is not about restriction. It is about awareness. And that tiny shift might be the simplest health habit you ever adopt. Habit 4. Shinrin-yoku. Shinrin-yoku means forest bathing. This is not exercise. It is not hiking. It is simply being in nature, walking slowly, breathing deeply, noticing what is around you. In Japan, doctors actually prescribe this, not as a metaphor, as medicine, and the science backs it up. When you spend time in nature, your cortisol drops, your blood pressure lowers, your immune system strengthens, and your mood improves. There is something about being surrounded by trees that resets your nervous system. Researchers believe it has to do with phytoncides. These are compounds that trees release to protect themselves from insects. When you breathe them in, your stress hormones decrease and your parasympathetic nervous system activates. You shift from fight or flight to rest and restore. But here is the thing. You do not need a forest. You do not need to live in Japan. You just need trees, a park, a trail, even a tree-lined street. The key is to go without distractions. No phone, no podcast, no goal. Just walk slowly and pay attention. Notice the light filtering through the leaves, the sound of the wind, the smell of the earth. Let your mind wander. This is not wasted time. This is recovery. And in a world that constantly demands your attention, this tiny practice might be the most important hour of your week. Habit 5. Wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi is a mindset that changes how you see everything. It is the acceptance of imperfection, the beauty of things that are impermanent, incomplete, and imperfect. In the West, we are obsessed with perfection. Flawless skin, perfect bodies, spotless homes, curated social media feeds. But that pursuit is exhausting, and it is a lie. Because nothing is perfect. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing is ever truly finished. Wabi-sabi says, that is okay. In fact, that is where the beauty is. A cracked teacup is not broken. It is lived in. A weathered wooden table is not old. It is full of history. A wrinkle on your face is not a flaw. It is a map of your life. When you embrace wabi-sabi, you stop chasing the impossible. You stop comparing yourself to airbrushed images. You stop feeling like you are not enough. Instead, you start appreciating what is, right now, as it is. And that shift is deeply freeing. So the next time you notice something imperfect in your life, pause. Instead of seeing it as something to fix, ask yourself, what is beautiful about this? That crack in the wall, that scar on your hand, that mistake you made last week. They are not flaws. They are proof you are living. Habit 6. Gammon. Gammon means endurance with dignity. It is the ability to tolerate difficulty without complaint and to persevere through hardship without breaking down. Now in the West, this might sound like toxic positivity, like just suck it up and push your feelings down. But that is not what gammon is about. Gammon is not about denying your pain. It is about not letting your pain control you. It is the quiet strength that says, this is hard, but I can handle it. I do not need to broadcast my struggle. I do not need validation. I just need to keep going. And there is something powerful about that. Because when you stop complaining, you stop reinforcing the story that you are a victim. You stop feeding the narrative that life is happening to you. Instead, you take responsibility. You accept that difficulty is part of life and you choose how you respond to it. This does not mean you suffer in silence forever. It means you do not let suffering define you. And in a world where everyone is constantly sharing their pain online, looking for sympathy, Gammon is a reminder that you do not need an audience to be strong. You just need to show up. Omoyari means compassionate consideration. It is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to anticipate their needs before they ask, and to act with kindness, not because you have to, but because you are thinking about how your actions affect others. In Japan, this is everywhere. People speak quietly on trains so they do not disturb others. They clean up after themselves in public spaces. They bow when they greet you, not out of subservience, but out of respect. And this is not just polite, it is practical, because when everyone practices omoyari, trust increases, stress decreases, and society functions more smoothly. But more than that, omoyari makes you happier. When you shift your focus from yourself to others, your own problems shrink, your perspective widens, and you feel more connected to the world around you. So try this. The next time you are about to do something, pause and ask, how will this affect the people around me? If you are playing music, is it too loud? If you are leaving a space, is it cleaner than when you arrived? These tiny acts of consideration cost you nothing, but they create a ripple effect that changes everything. Kintsugi is the art of repairing broken things with gold. When a bowl or vase breaks in Japan, they do not throw it away. They repair it. But instead of hiding the cracks, they fill them with gold, and the piece becomes more beautiful than it was before. Kintsugi is a metaphor for your life. You will break. You will fail. You will be hurt. But that does not make you worthless. It makes you real. And when you repair yourself, when you put the pieces back together, those cracks become part of your story. They are not something to hide, they are something to honor. Because the strongest people are not the ones who never broke. They are the ones who broke, rebuilt themselves, and carry that gold with them. So if you are going through something hard right now, remember this. You are not damaged, you are being transformed. And the version of you that comes out the other side will be stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than before. Do not hide your scars. Let them shine. These 8 tiny habits are not quick fixes. They are not life hacks. They are principles. And principles take time. Kaizen teaches you that small improvements compound into massive results. Ikigai gives you a reason to keep going. Hara Hachibu protects your health with one simple rule. Shinrin-yoku restores your mind in minutes. Wabi-sabi frees you from the exhausting pursuit of perfection. Gammon builds your resilience quietly. Omoyari connects you to others through small acts of kindness. And Kintsugi reminds you that breaking is never the end. You do not need to adopt all 8 at once. Pick one. Start tiny. Let it become part of who you are. Then add another. Because the Japanese do not chase transformation. They build it. One tiny choice at a time. One small habit at a time. And over the course of a lifetime, those tiny habits create a massive difference. A life that is calm, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. Not because it is perfect, but because it is intentional. If this shifted how you think about habits, hit subscribe. Because the secret to massive change is not doing more. It is doing tiny things consistently, quietly, without needing the world to notice. And that is something worth building. Like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.